Over the last number of years we have enjoyed in Ireland some level of relative industrial peace. But I think at this stage we have come to a situation which is quite grave, in that we are facing strikes by second-level teachers and we're facing strikes by An Garda Síochána. Now, I think today's advertisement in national newspapers seeking members of the public to go into schools and to act covering supervision and substitution work is at best misguided and worst completely misunderstands the nature of schools and how they operate. And to add to that, yesterday the Minister for Social Protection thought it was a good idea to say that the Irish public would never view members of An Garda Síochána the same way again if they were to go on strike, which I think is an outrageous statement. And it's quite clear to me that this government, and in particular Fine Gael, have no comprehension as to how industrial relations work or how best to deal with trade unions or the public sector in general. So as I suggest, I can hear it again to the leader, that the Minister for Public Expenditure and Reform should be invited into this House and to discuss his announcement in the budget of a public pay commission to report, I believe, by next summer. But surely we have to realise that the situation we find ourselves in is grave, that schools will close, that guards will not be on the streets, and in the response from government, it seems to be a complete misunderstanding of the sensitivities involved, a complete misunderstanding of the public sector, a complete misunderstanding of how to deal with industrial relations, and a kind of a face-them-down attitude, which is just not going to work. So what I would ask Cathaoirleach and the leader is respectfully, because what we don't need here in this House is any more hyperbole, but certainly what we do need is to overcome the situation where our schools are going to close down and where guards are not on the street. And in any other European member state, if that was to happen, the assumption would be that the government had completely lost control of the situation. So I would ask in the most respectful way possible that the Minister for Public Expenditure and Reform can come into this House to expand on his one-line statement in the budget speech as to what his vision is for the public sector, and that we might actually contribute to a conversation as how we can avoid the situation of our schools closing, and avoid the situation of guards not being on the street, and avoid the situation of bitterness and rancour being in our schools and in our police force for years and years to come. And I do think, Cathaoirleach, and in concluding, that if the tone of the government is to continue in the line of what Minister Varadkar said yesterday, then I really would worry about the situation completely unravelling.